Clarity of vision is the starting point of every great achievement. Before you can climb to the top, before you can dominate in any area of your life, you have to know exactly what the top looks like for you. Too many people are living with blurred vision, walking around with no real sense of where they are going, hoping that life will somehow guide them to greatness. But greatness is never an accident. Nobody wakes up one morning and just arrives at success without a clear roadmap. To dominate, you must first define what domination means in your life. Do you want to be the best athlete in your field, the top student in your class, the most impactful leader in your organization? Or maybe you want to build a business that changes lives, a brand that becomes a household name, or a legacy that inspires generations. Whatever it is, you have to see it in your mind long before you see it in reality. When you don't have vision, you drift. You wander through opportunities, not knowing which ones are for you and which ones aren't. You waste energy chasing after things that don't align with your true purpose. That's why clarity is powerful. Clarity acts like a compass, guiding you in the right direction no matter how many distractions or detours come your way. People with vision don't waste time on the unnecessary because they know where they are headed. You can't dominate in life if you're confused about your destination. Think about a GPS. If you type in the wrong address, no matter how fast you drive or how hard you press on the gas, you'll never end up where you're supposed to be. The same is true for your life. Without the right destination programmed into your mind, you can't expect to reach the top. Clarity also builds belief. When you have a crystal clear picture of what you want, you start to believe it's possible. That picture becomes a seed planted in your subconscious, and every day your actions begin to align with making it real. You begin to wake up earlier, work harder, focus sharper, and sacrifice deeper because you know what you're working toward. The clearer your vision, the stronger your drive. You cannot dominate without that inner fire, and vision is the spark that ignites. But clarity doesn't just come from thinking, it comes from writing, from declaring, from committing. Write down your goals. Write down exactly what the top looks like for you. Don't just say, I want to be successful. That's vague. Success means different things to different people. For you, success might mean owning your own company within 5 years, graduating with honors, becoming a world-class musician, or providing a better life for your family. Whatever it is, define it clearly. Make it so clear that if someone were to read your vision, they would know exactly what you're seeing. That kind of clarity makes your dreams tangible. Vision also acts as your anchor when life gets difficult, and it will get difficult. The path to the top is full of obstacles, setbacks, and disappointments. If you don't know where you're going, those challenges will cause you to quit. But if your vision is clear, you'll endure the pain because you know it's leading you somewhere worth the struggle. Champions don't get up early, train hard, and sacrifice sleep just because they feel like it. They do it because they see the end goal in their mind so vividly that it pulls them through the pain. You must visualize the top daily. See yourself standing on that stage, holding that trophy, signing that deal, graduating with honors, or whatever your top represent. Close your eyes and live it as though it has already happened. When you consistently visualize your destination, your mind begins to accept it as reality, and your actions naturally align to bring it into existence. The vision becomes your fuel, and without it, you'll burn out before you ever get close to the top. Clarity of vision also gives you the ability to say no. When you know where you're going, you're not tempted to follow every distraction, every opportunity that pops up, or every voice that tells you to take a different path. You know what belongs in your journey and what doesn't. That discipline of focus is what separates those who dominate from those who barely survive. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack clarity. They chase everything and catch nothing. But the one with vision, they chase one thing with relentless focus until it becomes theirs. You don't dominate by chance. You dominate by choice. And the first choice you make is to get clear about what you want and where you're going. Imagine a warrior stepping into battle with no target. He may swing his sword, he may fight with energy, but if he doesn't know what he's aiming at, all his effort is wasted. But a warrior with a clear target, every strike is intentional, every move is strategic. That's what clarity does. It makes your effort count. Relentless hunger is the fuel that separates the average from the extraordinary. It's the fire inside that never dies, the desire that refuses to be silenced, the inner drive that pushes you when your body is tired, when your mind says stop, and when everyone else has quit. Hunger is not something you switch on and off. It's a lifestyle. It's the daily decision to pursue greatness with every ounce of energy you have. Without hunger, talent sits unused, potential remains locked, and dreams collect dust. But with hunger, even the person with no resources, no support, no advantages can rise and dominate the top. Hunger is what makes you get up earlier than everyone else, stay up later than everyone else, and put in the work when no one is watching. It's not about wanting success. It's about needing it. People who want success give up when it gets hard, but people who are hungry treat quitting like poison. They know that hunger is the only thing that can carry them through the storms of life. Success is not guaranteed to the smartest, the strongest, or the most talented. Success belongs to the hungriest. Think about it. Hunger makes lions the kings of the jungle. It's not just their size or their strength, it's their relentless pursuit when their stomach growls. They don't stop until they catch what they're after. That's the mindset you need if you want to dominate the top. You must chase your dream with the same desperation, as if your very survival depends on it, because in a sense, it does. If you don't chase your vision with hunger, you'll end up living someone else's. Hunger doesn't care about circumstances. It doesn't care if you were born into poverty, if you lack resources, or if people doubt you. Hunger finds a way. Hungry people don't wait for opportunities to come to them. They create opportunities. They knock on doors, and if the door doesn't open, they break it down. They don't take a no as rejection. They take it as motivation. A hungry person can't be stopped because their drive comes from within. But here's the truth. Hunger must be sustained. Too many people start strong, but the moment they achieve a little success, their hunger fades. They get comfortable. They slow down. They lose the edge that got them started. That's why you can't just be hungry once. You have to stay hungry. Every achievement is just fuel for the next goal. The moment you feel satisfied, you start slipping backwards. Domination requires constant hunger, the kind that grows deeper even when you've already tasted success. Hunger is also about sacrifice. When you're hungry, you give up things that don't feed your vision. You don't waste time on endless entertainment, meaningless conversations, or temporary pleasures. While others are busy being distracted, the hungry are busy building, working, and grinding. I'm grinding. Hunger forces you to prioritize, to invest your time wisely, and to live with discipline. Because hunger knows that the small sacrifices today lead to massive rewards tomorrow. Hunger changes how you respond to failure. While most people see failure as the end, hungry people see it as fuel. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every rejection becomes redirection. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to grow strong. Hunger won't let you quit after a loss. Hunger won't let you walk away when you're tired. Hunger whispers in your ear, get back up. Try again, keep moving. That's why the hungry dominate. They outlast those who only wanted it until it got tough. Hunger also sets the tone for the people around you. When others see your drive, when they see how relentless you are, they can't help but be inspired or intimidated. Either way, your hunger makes a statement. It tells the world that you won't stop until you get what you came for. And even if people doubt you, laugh at you, or criticize you, hunger silences them when results show up. But make no mistake, hunger isn't glamorous. It's not always pretty. Not always pretty. It's waking up at 4 a.m. when your bed feels too comfortable. It's grinding in silence while others are partying. It's working on your craft when no one claps for you, when no one believes in you, when no one believes in you, when no one notices. Hunger is lonely. It's uncomfortable, but it's worth it. Because when the results finally come, when you finally stand at the top, everyone will see what hunger can produce. So ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Do you want it as badly as you want to breathe? Do you want it enough to sacrifice comfort, to embrace pain, to outwork and outlast everyone else? Because if you're only mildly interested, if you're only halfway committed, you'll never make it. The top is reserved for the starving, for the ones who can't sleep because their dreams are too loud, for the ones who refuse to be average. Relentless hunger is not a feeling, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's the choice to push when you're tired, to study when you're bored, to train when you're sore, and to sacrifice when it hurts. Unbreakable discipline is the foundation of domination. Talent will give you a head start. Hunger will push you forward. Vision will guide you. But without discipline, you'll never reach the top. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. It's the power to say no to excuses, no to distractions, and no to laziness. People who dominate the top aren't always the smartest or the most gifted. They're the ones who have mastered themselves. They have trained their bodies and mind to obey their goals, not their feelings. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievements. You can write your vision down. You can dream about it. You can even talk about it, but discipline is what makes it real. Without discipline, dreams stay dreams. That's why so many people start strong but fade away. They set big goals in January, but by February, they're already back to old habits. They say they want success, but their daily actions don't match their words. To dominate, your discipline must be stronger than your moods, stronger than your circumstances, stronger than your comfort zone. Discipline is unbreakable when it becomes who you are, not just something you do sometimes. It means showing up every day, even on the days when you don't feel like it. Champions train whether they're motivated or not. They don't ask, do I feel like working today? They ask, what needs to be done? And then they do it. That's why discipline beats motivation. Motivation is temporary, comes and goes like the weather. But discipline is permanent. It's the system that keeps you moving forward no matter what storms come your way. Think about the people you admire, the legends, the greats, the ones who dominate their fields. Their success is built on discipline. Athletes wake up before dawn to train while others sleep. Entrepreneurs spend hours building their craft while others waste time scrolling and gossiping. Students who graduate at the top of their class aren't always the most naturally gifted. They're the ones who consistently study, prepare, and sacrifice distractions. Discipline is the great equalizer. It allows the person with fewer advantages to outwork and outperform the naturally talented who lack consistency. Unbreakable discipline also means controlling your environment. You can't expect to stay focused if you surround yourself with constant temptation. Discipline is not just about willpower. It's about designing your life to support your goals. That means removing distractions, cutting out toxic influences, and surrounding yourself with people and environments that push you forward. If you want to eat healthy, don't keep junk food in your house. If you want to study, put your phone away. If you want to build a business, stop wasting hours on meaningless entertainment. Discipline is not just resisting bad habits. It's intentionally building good ones. The true test of discipline comes when no one is watching. Anyone can show up when there's an audience, when the spotlight is on, when applause is guaranteed. But real discipline shows up in the dark. It's the late nights and early mornings when you're alone with your grind. It's doing the work when there's no recognition, no applause, no validation. That's where discipline is forged, when it's just you, your dream, and the decision to keep going. By the time the world sees your results, the foundation has already been laid in silence. Discipline also requires patience. Too many people quit because they don't see instant results. But so, they think 1 week of effort should bring breakthroughs, but those who dominate understand that discipline compounds. Every day of consistent effort builds momentum. Every rep in the gym, every page studied, every hour invested adds up. You may not see results in a week or even in a month, but with time, discipline transforms you. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the tree immediately, but with daily watering, eventually it grows tall and unshakable. There will be moments when discipline feels painful, waking up early, sacrificing comfort, working when you're tired. All of it is uncomfortable. But you must embrace that discomfort because it's temporary. The pain of discipline lasts for a moment, but the pain of regret lasts a lifetime. You'll never regret being disciplined, but you will regret quitting, giving in, or wasting your potential. Discipline is the price you pay for freedom, for success, for greatness. Those who avoid discipline end up paying a heavier price later: failure, mediocrity, and regret. Unbreakable discipline also strengthens your character. It teaches you resilience, patience, self-control, and persistence. These qualities extend beyond your goals and shape who you are as a person. A disciplined individual can be trusted. relied upon, and respected. They lead by example, showing us that success isn't about luck, but about daily habits. To dominate at the top, you must be willing to sacrifice comfort. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort whispers in your ear, telling you to take it easy, to slow down, to wait until tomorrow. Comfort convinces you that you've done enough, that you deserve to rest, that you should avoid the hard things. But every time you choose comfort, you take a step away from your destiny. Every time you pick the easy road, you deny yourself the chance to rise higher. The truth is simple. Greatness and comfort cannot live in the same place. You must choose one. Sacrificing comfort means rejecting the idea of an easy life. The people who dominate are the ones who choose discipline over laziness, focus over distraction, pain over pleasure, and progress over excuses. They understand that comfort feels good in the moment, but it robs you of your future. Comfort makes you weak. It dulls your hunger. It keeps you stuck where you are. On the other hand, sacrifice builds strength. Every time you sacrifice comfort, you train your mind and body to become stronger, tougher, and more prepared for the challenges ahead. Think about an athlete training for the Olympics. While most people sleep in, that athlete is already sweating in the gym before the sun rises. While others are enjoying parties and late nights, that athlete is recovering, eating clean, and staying focused. That's sacrifice. Without it, they'll never make it to the top. The world only sees the medals, the glory, the victory. They don't see the countless hours of uncomfortable work, the pain of pushing through fatigue, or the lonely nights of choosing sacrifice over comfort. Domination always demands a price, and that price is paid in discomfort. Sacrificing comfort also means being willing to stand alone. Comfort is doing what everyone else is doing, fitting in, following the crowd. Sacrifice is doing what few are willing to do, even if it makes you unpopular or misunderstood. Comfort is hanging out with friends who waste time. Sacrifice is staying home to study, train, or work on your craft. Comfort is living for likes and applause. Sacrifice is building in silence until the results speak louder than words. If you want to dominate, you can't chase approval. You must chase your purpose. Comfort is seductive because it's safe, keeps you from risk, from failure, from embarrassment. But the top is never safe. The top is earned by those who risk, who fail, who get back up, and who keep climbing. Sacrificing comfort means being willing to take chances, to step into the unknown, to test your limits. You cannot discover how great you can become if you always stay in the safe zone. Growth happens in discomfort. Every new skill, every new achievement, every breakthrough comes from stepping outside what's easy and embracing what's hard. Sacrifice also means giving up short-term pleasures for long-term rewards. Comfort is eating what you want, spending what you want, sleeping as long as you want, and living without discipline. Sacrifice is choosing the hard option now so you can enjoy freedom later. It's saying no to fast food today so you can enjoy health tomorrow. It's saying no to unnecessary spending today so you can enjoy financial independence tomorrow. It's saying no to laziness today so you can enjoy success tomorrow. People who dominate are willing to delay gratification. They don't trade their future for the thrill of the moments. Another part of sacrificing comfort is learning to endure pain. The path to the top is full of obstacles. There will be exhaustion, failure, rejection, and setbacks. Comfort tells you to quit when it hurts. Sacrifice tells you to keep going until you break through. Pain is not your enemy, it's your ally. Pain means you're growing, stretching, becoming stronger. The gym teaches us this clearly. Comfort avoids the weights, but sacrifice pushes through the burn. Over time, the sacrifice builds strength, endurance, and results that comfort can never produce. The same applies in life. Sacrifice often feels unfair because you're doing more than others, giving up more than others, working harder than others. But that's the point. If you want to dominate, you must be willing to do what others won't. Comfort is crowded. Crowded. Millions of people are there. But the top is empty, reserved for the few who sacrificed enough to reach it. Every time you deny yourself comfort, remind yourself that you are moving closer to a place where most people would never go. Sacrificing comfort is not just about actions. It's also about mindset. It means training your mind to see discomfort as normal, as necessary, as a part of the process. Too many people run from anything hard, but those who dominate run toward it. They understand that the very thing others avoid is the thing that builds champions. When you embrace sacrifice, you stop asking, why is this so hard? And start saying, this difficulty is shaping me for the top. Mastering your craft is one of the most important steps to dominating at the top. Talent may open the door, hunger may push you forward, and discipline may keep you consistent. But mastery is what makes you unforgettable. Mastery is about going beyond average effort and committing yourself to excellence. It means refusing to settle for being good when you have the potential to be great. People respect those who have put in the time. Sweat put in the time, the sweat and the focus to refine their skills until they become second nature. If you want to dominate, you can't just participate. You must perfect what you do. Mastery doesn't happen overnight. It's not a quick fix or a shortcut. It's a process that requires years of dedication, countless hours of practice, and a willingness to study your craft from every angle. Too many people want success without mastery. They want recognition without repetition, results without refinement. But the truth is, the top belongs to those who have invested deeply in their development. Mastery is earned, not given. And the only way to earn it is through consistent practice, learning, and growth. When you master your craft, you separate yourself from the crowd. In every field, sports, business, academics, art, there are thousands of people trying to do what you do. But mastery puts you in a category of your own. It's the difference between a player and a professional, between an amateur and an expert, between a name no one remembers and a name that echoes for generations. People don't pay for average. They don't celebrate average. They don't follow average. They don't follow average. They respect, admire, and reward mastery. Mastering your craft also builds confidence. When you know you put in the work, when you study, practice, and train beyond what others are willing to do, you walk into every room with authority. With authority, confidence doesn't come from pretending. It comes from preparation. It comes from knowing you sharpen your skills so thoroughly that when the moment comes, you are ready. Masters don't hope they'll succeed. They know they'll succeed because they've paid the price in advance. The path to mastery is often lonely. While others are busy chasing comfort, you're putting in extra hours to refine your abilities. While they're distracted, you're locked in on your craft. Mastery requires obsession. It demands that you think about your craft constantly. Study those who came before you, analyze every detail, and push yourself to improve daily. Many people aren't willing to give that level of focus, which is why so few ever achieve mastery. But if you're serious about dominating the top, you must embrace the loneliness, the sacrifice, and the intensity that comes with pursuing excellence. Mastery also requires humility. You must be willing to admit what you don't know, to learn from others, to accept feedback, and to study your weaknesses. Masters are students first. They don't let pride get in the way of progress. They seek mentors, coaches, and examples to learn from. They watch, listen for to learn from. The moment you think you know it all, your growth stops. True mastery comes from a constant hunger to learn more, to improve more, to evolve more. Another element of mastery is patience. It takes time to be great. You can't rush the process. Too many people quit before they see the results of their hard work. They want to skip levels, but mastery doesn't allow shortcuts. Every repetition, every drill, every study session adds up, even if it feels small in the moment. Masters trust the process. They know that even when progress is invisible, growth is happening. They understand that consistency over time produces results that talent alone cannot. When you master your craft, opportunities start chasing you instead of you chasing them. People recognize excellence. They seek out those who stand out. A musician who has mastered their instrument doesn't need to beg for gigs. The world notices their skill. A professional who has mastered their field doesn't need to chase jobs. Companies compete for them. A student who has mastered their studies doesn't need to hope for success. They create it. Mastery attracts respect, influence, and recognition. Mastery also protects you from competition. When you're average, you're replaceable. When you're good, you're one of many. But when you're a master, you're in a league of your own. Competitors may try to copy you, but they can't match the years of work you put into perfecting your craft. Mastery builds an unshakable foundation that no one can easily duplicate. That's why those who dominate the top stay there. They've invested so deeply in their skill that they cannot be ignored or replaced. The pursuit of mastery is not just about skill. It's about character. It teaches you persistence, patience, and resilience. It forces you to face your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. A mindset of ownership is the difference between those who make excuses and those who make history. If you want to dominate the top, you cannot blame, you cannot complain, and you cannot point fingers. Ownership means taking full responsibility for your life, your choices, your failures, and your successes. It means accepting that no one is coming to save you. No one owes you anything, and no one else is responsible for your destiny. Ownership gives you power. The moment you stop blaming circumstances or people, you start gaining control over your future. Too many people live as victims. They say, I could have succeeded if I had better parents, or if I had more money, or if the world was fair. They waste years waiting for conditions to be perfect, for opportunities to fall into their laps, for someone else to hand them success. But domination doesn't work like that. Champions don't wait. They create. Leaders don't point fingers. They take responsibility. Ownership is about saying, it doesn't matter where I started. It doesn't matter what I lack. It doesn't matter what challenges I face. I will find a way. When you embrace ownership, you stop giving power to external forces. Excuses hand over control to someone else. When you say, I couldn't because of them, you're letting them dictate your destiny. Ownership flips the script. It says, even if life is unfair, I still have the power to respond, to work, to fight, and to change my situation. That mindset makes you unstoppable because you no longer waste energy on blame. You channel all your energy into action. Ownership also means accepting responsibility for your failures. When things go wrong, the average person blames others. They say the coach didn't play me, or the teacher didn't like me, or the boss didn't see my work. But those who dominate look inward. They ask, oh, what could I have done differently? How can I improve? What lesson can I learn? Ownership transforms failure into feedback. Instead of being crushed by mistakes, you use them as stepping stones toward growth. That's why champions rise after setbacks, because they own both the wins and the losses. Another part of ownership is discipline. When you own your life, you stop waiting for someone to push you. You don't need reminders, pep talks, or supervision to do the work. You become self-motivated, self-driven, and self-accountable. Ownership means you show up even when no one's watching, because you know the responsibility to succeed lies entirely on you. The people at the top don't wait for permission to work on their craft. They own it daily. Ownership also affects how you treat opportunities. Those who lack ownership waste chances, blaming circumstances when they fail. But those with an ownership mindset treat every opportunity with respect. They prepare, they show up ready, and they give their best effort. They know opportunities don't come often, and when they do, only those prepared to own them can capitalize. Ownership forces you to maximize every resource, every moment, every chance you get. Owning your life also means owning your choices. Every decision has consequences. If you choose to work hard, you own the rewards. If you choose laziness, you own the results. Too many people want the benefits of hard work without paying the cost. They want success without sacrifice, results without discipline. Ownership doesn't allow that. Ownership says, if I want it, I must earn it. If I don't put in the work, I don't deserve the reward. That honesty with yourself is powerful because it eliminates excuses and forces you to rise higher. Ownership is not just personal. It's also about leadership. When you lead others, ownership means you don't shift blame to your team when things go wrong. True leaders take responsibility. They shield their people, they own mistakes, and they work to fix them. That's why they earn respect. A leader who blames loses credibility, but a leader who owns builds trust. If you want to dominate in leadership, you must embody ownership in every decision and action. Ownership also brings freedom. When you stop waiting for others and accept full control of your destiny, you no longer depend on luck, chance, or handouts. You know that your life is in your hands. That realization is empowering because it means you have the ability to change direction at any moment. If you don't like where you are, ownership says, then do something about it. That mindset turns victims into victors and dreamers into doers. The mindset of ownership is not easy because it requires humility. It's easier to blame others than to admit you fell short. It's easier to complain about life than to take responsibility for it. But those who dominate don't chase easy. They chase results. They understand that ownership might feel heavy at times, but it's the only way to create lasting success. Surrounding yourself with greatness is one of the most powerful decisions you can make if you truly want to dominate the top. No matter how talented, disciplined, or hungry you are, the environment you place yourself in will either accelerate your growth or slowly drain your growth or slowly drain your potential. People underestimate the impact of influence, but it shapes every aspect of your mindset, habits, and actions. If you spend time with those who think small, who settle for mediocrity, and who constantly complain, you'll eventually absorb their patterns. But if you align yourself with people who think big, who work hard, and who aim high, your standards will naturally rise. You can't stay at the bottom if everyone around you is climbing. Greatness attracts greatness. That's why champions train with other champions. That's why successful entrepreneurs collaborate with other successful people. That's why leaders spend time with other leaders. They understand that iron sharpens iron. Being around greatness challenges you to step up, to stop making excuses, and to push past your comfort zone. You can't dominate at the top if your circle is satisfied at the bottom. Your environment must reflect where you want to go, not where you've been. The people you surround yourself with either pour fuel on your fire or water it down. Greatness is contagious. When you watch someone sacrifice, push, and achieve, it inspires you to do the same. You start to realize what's possible. Their work ethic becomes a mirror, reflecting back what you could be doing. On the other hand, mediocrity is also contagious. If everyone around you is lazy, distracted, or unmotivated, you'll feel out of place for working hard. Soon you'll start lowering your standards just to fit in. That's why being intentional about your circle is critical. Surrounding yourself with greatness doesn't always mean physical proximity. Sometimes it means seeking out mentors through books, podcasts, speeches, and online resources. If you don't have high achievers around you in person, you can still learn from them virtually. You can study their habits, adopt their mindsets, and implement their strategies. Greatness leaves clues, and if you're willing to learn, you can absorb wisdom from those who've already walked the path you're pursuing. But when you do get the chance to connect with greatness directly, humility is key. Too many people enter great environments with arrogance, trying to prove themselves instead of learning. Don't waste the opportunity to absorb knowledge. Ask questions. Listen more than you speak. Study their processes, their habits, their routines. Greatness isn't just about talent. It's about the daily choices people make. When you surround yourself with greatness and stay humble, you start picking up those same habits and applying them to your own life. Being around greatness also exposes your weaknesses. At first, this can feel uncomfortable. You may notice how far you still have to go, how much work you still need to put in, or how many areas you need to improve. But that discomfort is a gift. It shows you the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Instead of being intimidated, use it as fuel. Something that reminds you that there's more inside you, more you can give, more levels to reach. Greatness forces you to confront your limits, and that's the only way you'll ever expand them. Surrounding yourself with greatness also keeps you accountable. When you're around people who expect excellence, you can't get away with mediocrity. They notice when you slack. They challenge you when you make excuses. They push you when you think about quitting. That accountability is priceless because it forces you to stay consistent even on the days you want to settle. At the top, you need people who won't let you fall back into average. You need voices that remind you of your goals when you forget. But surrounding yourself with greatness also means letting go of toxic influences. Sometimes this is the hardest part because it might mean distancing yourself from friends or family who drag you down. It doesn't mean you stop loving them, but it does mean you stop allowing their negativity to shape your mindset. Protect your energy. If you're serious about domination, you can't afford to constantly absorb doubt, gossip, or excuses. Your future is too important to waste in environments that don't support growth. The truth is, you will become like the people you spend the most time with. Their habits will rub off on you. Their language will shape your thoughts. Their standards will influence your own. If you're around people who settle, you'll eventually settle. But if you're around people who rise, you'll eventually rise. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's why one of the most strategic moves you can make is to intentionally place yourself in rooms where greatness lives. Pain and pressure are not signs that you are failing. They are proof that you are on the path to greatness. Too many people run from pain, avoid pressure, and retreat the moment life gets uncomfortable, but domination doesn't come from comfort zones. It comes from battles, from struggle, from carrying heavy loads that force you to grow stronger. If you want to dominate the top, you must stop fearing pain and start embracing it as your greatest teacher. Pressure isn't your enemy. It's your opportunity to discover what you're truly made of. Think about diamonds. They don't form in soft conditions. They are created under intense heat and crushing pressure. The very thing that destroys some materials is the same thing that creates something priceless. The same is true for you. Pain will either break you or build you, depending on how you respond. Pressure will either crush you or carve you into something greater. If you run from it, you remain average. But if you embrace it, you develop resilience, strength, and character that no one can take away. Every champion you admire has a story of pain. Athletes push their bodies through injuries and exhaustion. Entrepreneurs endure failures, debt, and endless rejection. Leaders face criticism, betrayal, and sleepless nights. None of them reach the top by avoiding struggle. They reached it by leaning into the pain and letting it sharpen them. Pressure was their training ground. Every setback became fuel. Every hardship became preparation for the next level. Without pain, they would have stayed the same. With pain, they evolved into champions. Pain and pressure also reveal your true commitment. Anyone can stay motivated when things are easy. Anyone can talk about domination when the road is smooth. But when the storm comes, when everything seems stacked against you, that's when the truth comes out. Do you quit or do you fight harder? Do you let pressure crush your spirit or do you rise up and push back? Pain exposes who really wants it and who was just pretending. Domination requires proving your hunger, not when it's convenient, but when it's costly. Embracing pain doesn't mean you enjoy suffering. It means you understand its purpose. Pain is feedback. It shows you where you need to grow. Pressure is a signal. It shows you where the breakthrough lies. Most people misinterpret these moments. They see pain and think it's a stop sign. But for champions, pain is a green light. It's the sign that you're being stretched into your next level. If you're not facing pressure, you're probably not chasing big enough goals. When you embrace pain, you build mental toughness. Your mind learns that discomfort is temporary, but growth is permanent. You start seeing struggle as an investment, not a punishment. Every rep in the gym, every late night studying, every hour grinding while others sleep, it hurts, but it's shaping you, it's preparing you for the way to success. Because the truth is, success itself brings pressure. At the top, the spotlight is brighter, the expectations are higher, and the weight is heavier. If you can't handle pain at the bottom, you'll crumble under the pressure at the top. Pain and pressure also separate you from the crowd. Most people will quit the moment things get tough. They'll choose comfort over challenge, excuse over endurance, but when you keep pushing through what others avoid, you automatically set yourself apart. Your resilience becomes your advantage. While others retreat, you advance. While others complain, you adapt. That's how you dominate. By doing what others refuse to do, by caring what others are too weak to carry. Another gift of pain's perspective. Once you've endured hardship, smaller obstacles don't shake you. When you survive storms, light rain doesn't bother you. Pressure teaches you to stay calm in chaos. It gives you the confidence to say, I've been through worse and I'm still standing. That perspective makes you unshakable. While others panic under pressure, you perform. While others fold, you focus. That's the difference between average and elite. The ability to stay steady under weight. But here's the truth. Embracing pain is a choice. No one can force you to see pressure as an opportunity. You decide whether to complain or to grow. You decide whether to retreat or to rise. Champions choose to lean into pain because they know the reward on the other side is worth it. They trust the process, even when it hurts. They understand that the price of greatness is paid in struggle. Consistency is the great separator between those who dream and those who dominate. Talent will get you noticed. Passion will get you started. But only consistency will keep you climbing until you reach the top. It's not about what you do occasionally, it's about what you do daily. The world is full of people with potential, but very few have the discipline to show up every single day regardless of how they feel.